Hello, and welcome to another Gaming Stooges Talks video. I am someone. If you've been watching our videos, then you probably know who I am. If not, I'm KGG53. Joining me is everyone else. Okay, let's go. What are we talking about today?
Else. Actually, no one else is here. He's just.
Oh, okay.
He's been calling me everyone else for the past couple of days. It's kind of weird. It's confusing.
Everyone else is dead. That's why.
Oh, I'm dead. Yeah.
Jack's dead. Okay.
Fuck.
I'll bring Black, Cloud, and Justin. Come back here. No, we're talking about.
Yo, I feel insulted. You have to point out a black yo.
Oh, settle down there.
I'll take you to my hood.
Okay, you're.
But anyway, okay. We're talking about the Game Boy today, guys.
The original one.
And not the color because Landon said we couldn't.
Or the Advance because
that's obviously no.
But the color's a different system.
Technically.
Anyway, the Game Boy is 25 years old this year. Goddamn. It came out 1989. It had its
Japanese birthday earlier this year, but recently was the North American. So that's why we're doing this video now. Also because we were too lazy to do it earlier.
A lot of things came out in 1989, but shrug.
Anyway, so we're going to talk about the Game Boy real quick, its legacy, and a few of its most important games. We'll just kind of run off them.
Mm-hmm.
What do we want to start with? Just like basically it as a system.
Well, it was underpowered compared to the other consoles that were coming out at the same time, like the Game Gear and whatever that other console
came out after that.
Well, around the same time, I mean.
Yeah.
But it was using weaker parts.
What makes the Game Boy stand out, though, it was one of the first major handhelds to incorporate the whole cartridge-based, what am I looking for? Cartridge-based technology for playing games. Like, before that, you basically had, like, games that, you had a handheld game, you turned it on, that was the game. You couldn't play anything else. And
like the Game & Watch games.
Like the Game & Watch games. Any of the shitty Tiger Electronics shit. Oh my god. But, like the Game Boy was one of the first game systems to be like. The NES was the what was the first cartridge-based system? The Odyssey? Whatever. But
probably
the Game Boy was the first handheld to do what it did, and has a lot of great games because Nintendo was backing it, so it had a ton of first-party stuff. It also had a lot of
decent third-party.
It also had a lot
lineup.
It had some really glitch third-party games, we could say.
Okay, mister.
All right. Stealing your word. Sorry.
Yeah, settle down. Don't steal things.
Come on.
That's bad. Stealing's bad, just like terrorists.
Looking back, the Game Boy is not that powerful nowadays because, I mean, it took 4 AA batteries to power the thing. The screen size is literally smaller than your palm, and it didn't really last very long. But
it lasted longer than the Game Gear.
That's true. The Game Gear lasted like 6 hours on its 6 batteries.
Yeah, no. The Game Gear, just 8 batteries.
But the Game Boy could last about, I think it was like 8 to 10 hours. Regardless, it was one of the most important pieces of technology when it came to gaming for its time because it opened up the ability for us to have handheld gaming as we have it today.
It was also a brick.
It was a house.
You could toss that shit. You could just toss that shit.
Persian Gulf War.
We have the Persian Gulf. Yeah, the one that survived the Persian Gulf War. They replaced the screen. And now just you have like this charred top surface. Still plays Tetris fine though.
Won't play anything. It's just that's what they have running because that's easy to get automated.
It's just like I don't know what the fuck Nintendo made their like 90s plastic out of, but it's
Nintendium. Whatever Tonka uses for their Tonka trucks. That's
They
what they
just
were
melt
using.
down old. They just melt. They went into the future, took Nokia phones, melted those down.
And then made a Game Boy out of it.
Yeah.
It's somewhat related, but I remember seeing a post on Reddit about someone like ran over a Smash 64 cartridge with a truck, and it still played.
Yeah, it
Like,
did.
whatever, man.
All right, so mentioned how it's good. Actually, you guys remember the worm lights that came with that thing?
Yes.
Yes.
In order to, because the Game Boy, while it was a groundbreaking system,
It had no backlight,
it had
though.
no
That was
backlight. It had no way of lighting itself, so you had to buy external peripherals to do that. And you basically turned your fucking Game Boy into like this gigantic mechanical monstrosity Frankenstein-looking thingy in order for you to see it well at night when you were playing it. And we loved it.
Oh yeah, get under the fucking covers. You just play your Game Boy.
Even
Game Boy
though
Color.
even with the light though, it still looked like ass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, nowadays we have backlights, LED
I'm,
lights, stuff like that.
I'm too young. I'm too young to have like owned an original Game Boy, but when I was a kid. But I remember like when I had my Game Boy Advance, it was like during the day I was sitting under a lamp, and at night I had the fucking worm light on it.
I have held and played a regular Game Boy, but my first Nintendo handheld was the Game Boy Color, and while it's like smaller and it does have it only runs on 2 AA's, it's basically the same principle. It's
Just his color.
It's just this color. So if we don't have anything,
I'll say one thing. I remember, if we're talking about like basically the first times
yeah,
we played the system, I remember my mom had an original Game Boy, and it came with Tetris, obviously. So I remember playing Tetris, and I was like, what the fuck is this shit? And I'm just like trying to get blocks down, and I'm like, holy fuck, this is blowing my mind. Those blocks disappeared, and then like years later, I'm addicted to the game still. So
you're addicted to making blocks disappear.
yeah, I am.
You crackhead.
Sorry, I'm a blockhead actually.
You're a blockhead.
Yeah.
Justin, what about you? Any memories you feel like sharing? No. Okay.
No.
Oh wait, no.
I just know that like I got it without the light for the longest time, so it's like, oh, I can't see anything. And then eventually, you know, I did end up getting the light because I was always complaining how fucking dark it was. Because that fucking thing is not only tiny, but like we said already, there's no backlight. So during the night, you can't see jack shit. So it's like, what the fuck? I just know that I played a lot of Pokemon on it, and I think it was Pokemon or Metroid that was always fighting over, which I just know that much. But yeah, that's pretty much anything that's memorable to me anyway.
All right. Speaking of which, we're going to start talking about some of the games that came on the Game Boy. Probably the biggest games to come from the Game Boy, not packaged in, is the Pokemon first generation games, Pokemon Red, Blue, Yellow in America. It was the originals were green and red in Japan. But we'll start. What did you guys think of those games? Go.
Well, Pokemon was my first handheld game. I had red version, and then I ended up getting blue version after, for my same birthday, from 2 different people as gifts, and I spent so much time on these games. I would take it everywhere with me. I ended up having to get a rechargeable battery for my Game Boy Color to keep playing it. It's just so much time. Like it was really impressive because I before then I had never really played any handheld stuff, and I didn't think a handheld could have like games on it that had as much detail and depth as like something that was on a home console. Like I thought, all right, all these cartridges are probably going to have little games that aren't really like too impressive or anything. And here I am like playing like a huge like basically like console quality game on a little device, and I'm just like. It was also my first turn-based RPG. My first RPG was on the Super Nintendo, and it's kind of the thing that got me into the genre.
Looks like Jack is having problems with the call.
Oh, God damn it!
No, we'll still keep going. Justin, you want to talk? Oh wait, did you still have something to say?
Yeah, just one last thing. I just wanted to mention.
Okay.
I think it was really unique and revolutionary for its time because it was one of the first RPGs that I remember playing, one of the earliest RPGs that really got the idea of being able to like catch monsters and just like build your own team based on things that you can actually fight in the game, which is something that I still don't see done very well nowadays, and Pokemon's still, in my opinion, the best thing that does it.
Did you have something you wanted to say, Justin? About the first generation games?
Well, I think the most I have to say is that, what is it? I think most of my time, if I wasn't playing, like I said, Metroid or something, I was mostly playing Pokemon because it's like, it was, I don't know, I think it was how weird it was because it was like, you play as this guy, you catch a bunch of, like, what the fuck they were. And, like, they all had different forms. They could change forms the more they fought. And, there were so many of them. It's like, you could just keep playing this game for hours, and you pretty much just keep finding new things, the longer you play it. And this guy, because, well, I've already said this, like, thousands of times, but this guy never had a Super NES, so this was actually my first real RPG game. Because the Genesis never really had RPGs like that. Well, that's the thing. I didn't really play RPGs on my NES, so it was pretty much Pokemon that was my RPG game. Because, like I said, Genesis didn't really get anything outside of Phantasy Star or something. So yeah. So it has quite a bit of volume, I guess, to it, considering the fact that was like my first RPG ever. So I think that was pretty much like my favorite game, like, until like, some of the other stuff came out. But yeah.
I didn't really have like much. Again, I'm kind of young, so it's not like I didn't have like too much of an experience with the original Game Boy. Like, if anything, I really only ever played the Color, and I played Gen 2 a lot more than Gen 1, but I did play some Gen 1 when I was younger. I remember like playing it for like bits at a time, and then like just kind of wanting to go back to Silver and Gold, or Gold and Silver, because it's just like, I like this better. I don't know. Gen 1's alright. It's not like...
well, okay.
Oh, dude, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna...
I didn't have anything else to say. Just...
Okay, well, I guess I'll continue now. Okay. Never mind. No, let's see, Gen 1, well, I did have an original Game Boy, but that was more my mom's. But my first console was the special Pikachu fucking packaged in with the Pokemon Yellow Game Boy Color. But I did play Pokemon Yellow and Pokemon Blue, and I think some Pokemon Red. But I owned Blue and Yellow myself, except they went under a bus heater when I was like in the 4th grade or something, or 5th. So I don't have those anymore. But what I did play of them, I really enjoyed, and Pokemon Yellow is pretty much the game that got me into gaming outside of my other console I got around the same time, which is the Nintendo 64, and Pokemon Stadium and Snap with that. But Gen 1 games, I remember them fondly. I really like them. Even today, I've gone back and played through like emulated means because obviously I don't own the cartridges anymore. Like Pokemon Blue, just Bulbasaur all day, train up until I'm like level too much, and then just run through the actual game instead of sitting on Route 1 and 2 forever. Because, the games themselves compared to what's out today is like really, really broken.
Yeah,
and
it was also Game Freak's first attempt at at their Pokemon game, and it was also I don't think they had much experience with the Game Boy either at the time.
Well, they had the original versions, and then these versions, the international, I guess, version.
Yeah,
that came out.
The original version was even worse off. Like,
there
was a game-breaking glitch where if you evolved your Pokemon before getting the Pokedex, you couldn't even beat the game because the game was like, "What are you doing? I don't know what to do now."
So, but
for their first attempt and for the absolute mess that it was still highly enjoyable.
And we still remember it fondly for those who grew up on that, obviously.
All right, so next big game.
We are going to. We can talk about that. Yeah, let's talk about Tetris. Tetris was one of the packaged-in titles, and Tetris was still getting it was at like the height of its popularity, and then they're like, let's throw that on the Game Boy. They packaged it in, and it sold millions. And
all right,
go for it.
So what I remember about Tetris is it debuted in the late 80s. I don't remember exactly when, but it was selling like hotcakes. There was a few companies. I think their name was Tengen. They made not officially licensed versions of Tetris cartridges. Like they're the black cartridges for the NES. There was a bunch of other systems that got the Tetris game, and while it was still wicked popular, like Landon said, they threw it onto the Game Boy as a pack-in title, and it sold a lot. It's an addicting game. It's just really good. It's a really simple idea. You just put blocks and make them disappear. Just really simple formula, and it's just something that it's helped sell the system. It's one of the, I think it's still the best sell. If we include all the pack-in copies, it's still the best-selling game on the system.
Probably up there with Pokemon Red and Blue.
I'd
have to look.
Yeah, we would have to look, but
I'm pretty sure it is.
It was a hugely popular game that was responsible for the Game Boy having a good life before the late 90s when Pokemon hit around.
Yeah, so
I think it's addicting. I just get mad at it. Anybody else have anything to say about that? It would be Justin's turn if we're going in the order that we started up. Just so mad.
Yeah, that's it. Do you have anything you want to say?
Wait, what were we talking about?
Tetris, you dumb.
Oh.
Okay, thanks for that.
Thanks for your input.
I looked at the cartridge, and then I played it, and then years later, I found out it was made by Russians. I was like, communists! Tetris is one of those, it's probably the only puzzle game I'll ever play, because I don't really enjoy puzzle games. I'm just not that kind of person. But Tetris I enjoyed enough. I don't know if it was because the blocks, there is addicting, because it's after a while, it gets a little bit more convoluted, and it's wait. No, you go over there. No, you go over there. Oh, shit. And then, it just gets a little bit more intense as it, increases its speed to the point you're like, fuck. Because eventually you're not going to be able to keep up with it. So you're just going to fuck up, and then you're going to cry. But overall, yeah, I definitely have some good memories about Tetris. It's got a catchy as shit theme song. So there's always that.
Jack, do you have anything you wanted to say about Tetris?
Tetris is sorry. Tetris is it's a good game. It's fun. I never really played it on the Game Boy until like I don't even know when I started it. I didn't grow up on it. Like my first Tetris was fucking Tetris DS. Well, that wasn't the first time I had like played it, but it was the first one that I owned, so it was like the first one that I really got into. Tetris DS is really good. The one on the Game Boy, it's like, it's pretty vanilla, but at the same time, it's like, first Tetris. So, well, not the first Tetris, but it was Game Boy. So what can you do? I enjoy Tetris. It's fun. I'm playing it on my phone right now.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Well, Tetris, it's one of my favorite games, and obviously it's been updated since it originally came out. So newer versions add things in that I like a little bit more. But Tetris is probably my favorite game on the original Game Boy, hands down. It's super addicting, like these guys have said, and it's fun. And then, if you get in through the rhythm and you know what you're doing, you can keep going for a while. But if you just lose it for like even a moment, you're going to end up screwing yourself over. And it's just a puzzle game that, I've heard people say, it's really bad because it's really simple, but you want to keep things simple, especially for like a handheld game. And if, you have to use your mind a lot because you have to do quick reactions and stuff with it.
And planning.
And yeah, you have to plan ahead because you do get to see what block's going to come next, and later
that feel when you need one specific block and it just doesn't come for like 10 to 15 blocks, and you're just like, okay,
I need an eye block right now. Where is it?
Line piece.
Exactly. Nope. I just keep getting the L's and the J's. God.
Squiggly.
Damn it!
Reverse squiggly.
I remember when I was doing the Toho stuff, and it was like we were on Mountain of Faith. The last attack, she has like these amulets, and they all look like the line blocks from Tetris. And Justin mentioned that she stole all of them.
Yes.
It's like, damn it, that's why we can't get a line block in Tetris. Fuck you, Kaneko Yasaka.
You need that to clear the most lines at one point in time. Duh!
Flippin'
Tetris is great. Tetris is a great game. And we're going to move on to another great game for the original Game Boy, Link's Awakening, which was also remade, Link's Awakening DX for the Game Boy Color. So if you played either version, feel free. They're pretty much the same thing.
I unfortunately have nothing I can say about this game because I have not actually played it. I've heard amazing things about it. I do know that it has a connection to A Link to the Past. That's about all I know about it, though.
The overworld is basically shaped a lot like the Link to the Past overworld. They basically took A Link to the Past and made it into a handheld game and then changed it up.
All right. Well, like Justin? I don't have much to say.
Yeah. Did you have anything you wanted to comment on, Justin?
Oh, wait. If Justin doesn't have anything to say, I do remember one thing. There was like apparently a cheat that you can use in that game where like it has to do with like the chicken and the boomerang or something.
There's a lot of cheats in that game. You can steal. I know you can steal from the shop if you do it right. And then like something happens and like your game gets marked for, being a theft or thief.
I didn't know if the game did that.
The boomerang thing was well, actually, you could steal from the guy the first time, but when you come back in, he just murders your ass.
Yeah. But there's a way to get away with it.
Yeah, well, the boomerang glitch was... I forget how you trigger it. I don't know
think
if
you
it has
have
something
to...
do with you picking up...
You have to toss the boomerang, pick up a chicken, and then when the boomerang comes back, you're standing on the boomerang with the chicken or something like that. And it like
Yeah, something like that.
Well,
That
what
sounds about right.
What happens afterwards is the boomerang starts zipping like all around you, like permanently.
Yeah.
So it's almost like a shield now.
zip zap zoobly bop.
I played a bit of it. Like I've actually found a few of those glitches on my own. Not some of the more like extreme ones. Like I think Landon might know about this one. The fisherman glitch.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about.
It's what everybody calls like the glitch world or something.
Yes, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. The funny thing is, if you access the glitch world, if I remember right, you can actually get more heart containers than are actually in the game.
Yes, you can. Yeah.
Yeah, but beyond goofy glitches and stuff like that, I enjoyed the game, even though a lot of times I didn't know what I was doing. So sometimes I would run around in a dungeon, and a lot of times I would find things out by pure fucking accident. But I thought it was a fun game for as much as I could actually play it. Didn't get too far though, but I'll eventually beat that game someday.
Jack, did you have anything you wanted to say?
About Link's Awakening?
Yes.
It's my favorite Game Boy game. So there's that. It's,
that's...
you guys kind of already said everything I wanted to, so I like the dungeons, I guess. It's I like it a lot more than Oracle of Ages or Seasons. But I
agree with you on that, but I will say it is a good game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I like it a lot.
I think my second favorite Game Boy game. I don't know. I had to scrap my list that I originally made because I was doing all this this new list that fuck. Anyway, yeah, it's a good game. I remember I played it through recently because it was on the eShop. It's on the eShop. Go buy it. Well, the DX version's on the eShop, which I guess is technically better. It's in color, which is cool. But it is a really good title. It's not one of my favorite titles, but it is one of the better handheld titles I found. So there's that. If you're looking for a good core 2D Zelda experience, kind of like A Link to the Past, this is it. I think this is actually one of my favorite 2D Zelda games. It's got some really nice dungeons. It has some pretty cool... I think it's got pretty standard items in it compared to some of the other games. And I remember really liking the final boss. So there's that. No, I don't really have much else to say. It's a good game. Go play it. Next, we're gonna do basically the Mario games. We're gonna talk about 4 games at once. Try to do it quickly. Super Mario Land, Super Mario Land 2, the Golden Coins or whatever. Donkey Kong 94, the Game Boy version of Donkey Kong, and then what was it? It was another game that Jack wanted to talk about. Jack can talk about it. Was it Mario's Picross? Something?
No, we don't have to talk about that.
No, we don't. It's still good. It's still a good game.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's Picross, so you can find like different versions of that everywhere. Anyone want to talk about any of these titles? Cloud.
I would like to talk about Mario Land. Mario Land was one of the first games that I had gotten for the Game Boy. And the way I got it was kind of weird because I got it in a trade, actually. I can't remember if I had blue or red, Pokemon Red or Blue at the time because, I don't remember, because I lost one of them. And I had yellow. And I was like, well, I like yellow. So my friend was willing to, friend, classmate, whatever, was willing to trade me one of the 2 Pokemon games, I can't remember, that I had, with his Super Mario Land. And I was like, yeah, of course. So I ended up going home and I was playing Super Mario Land, and I played the crap out of that game. It's a little different because it takes place in a completely different land that the Super Mario Brothers games on the NES do. But it's got the same basic formula, and it's a really fun game. I liked it. It has some catchy music. I thought the music from Super Mario Land was a little bit catchier than some of the regular tunes are, honestly. Good game, though. I didn't get to play Six Golden Coins, the sequel, or like any of the other stuff. I only really got to play the first Mario Land.
Okay. Justin, did you have anything you wanted to comment about these games?
The only real thing I could honestly say is that I discovered long ago, and I pretty much rediscovered it when I tried to play Super Mario Bros. U. I am terrible at Mario games, no matter what they are. Whereas I am
sorry.
Whereas I'm pretty good to like extremely professional when I'm actually not actually like fucking around in Sonic games. I am absolutely terrible at Mario games. I don't know why. I don't know why. I just can't really play Mario games effectively. Like it's just not for me. That's not to say I won't play it, but I'll play it terribly. So I mean, I like the game for as long as I could actually stay alive, but there's not really much else to say about it.
Makes you
World
feel any better.
1-1.
I never did beat Mario Land. I think the farthest I got was World 4 or 5, and that's because at the time I was fucking terrible at Mario games too. So it's okay.
It also didn't help. It play too much of. I mean, I played enough of it, but I didn't play it as much as the fact that it was also fighting against the Sonic games on the Genesis for attention. So yeah, that's probably what factors in on why I'm so terrible at them.
Go ahead, Jack. Say whatever you feel like about these titles, the Super Mario games.
I can't.
Other games.
I don't really like. I don't know. I could talk about like any of these games and just say, yeah, I like them, but I didn't grow up with any of them because, like, I don't know. I guess I just can't really say much about the game outside of like, yeah, I like it. It's good. I really like Donkey Kong 94. That's probably my second favorite Game Boy game. It's basically what started the Mario versus Donkey Kong series.
Yeah.
And it's fun. I like it.
For those who don't know what Jack's talking about, Donkey Kong 94, the Game Boy version of Donkey Kong, is basically, it starts off as the original arcade version of Donkey Kong with the 4 levels. After you beat that, you get to go through 150 levels that are designed like the future Mario versus Donkey Kong levels. And I played that recently. I didn't really play these games when I was growing up either. Pretty much the big games I played were Pokemon and Tetris. But I actually really enjoyed Donkey Kong. And I think my favorite part of Super Mario Land, the first one, was actually the basically turret levels where you're in the airplane or the submarine, and you just shoot bullets all over the place. Those are my favorite levels, because I don't know why. Maybe because they're not standard platforming levels. I don't know. It just kind of changes up the gameplay in those. Super Mario Land 2 is also a good game, and it's a lot more like a standard Mario game, at least to me, than the first one was. And I enjoyed it. It was okay. I don't know how I feel about comparing the two, but it's a good title.
So
Right. So we're going to talk about Kirby Kirby's Dream Land 1 and 2, and Pinball if you guys played it. And then we will quickly run through a couple more games and then call it good.
I actually, at some point, have played all 3 of these games. I'm more familiar with the first Dreamland than I am the other 2, because the other 2 I played so long ago. But my experiences with the first one, I own it. It's a lot of fun. It's kind of different because it's got the early installment weirdness where you can't actually copy powers in that game.
It's not a Kirby game.
And neither is Epic Yarn. But but I enjoyed it. I thought it was a lot of fun. It's kind of primitive, and it's really, really short because it's the first Kirby game. It's also a portable game, so it's like doesn't really have a lot to it. But for what it was setting up everything that would become what Kirby is, it does a really good job. You have your greens, you have like all the other levels that are kind of like standard Kirby style levels. You have it introduces enemies like DDD and Krakow who have appeared throughout the series since. I think it's just a lot of fun. Plus, it has a challenge mode after you've beaten the game where like it's like a hard mode and everything.
Yeah, it's a hard mode.
I played a little bit of the second one when I was playing it on a Super Game Boy when I was at a relative's, and I don't remember really using the little friend animals, but I did use some of the copy powers, and that's where they originated. They work really well. They're really fun to use. It's not too different from the first game otherwise. And Pinball Land was weird because I think I was in a foster home at the time, and they had some Game Boy games, and I just popped it in my Game Boy because I didn't really have anything else because I left most of my other games at home, and I was playing that, and it's kind of interesting because it's like if you know how Pokemon Pinball works, it's like it's kind of like that, I guess. Like it's weird. I don't know how to explain it, but it's kind of got like boss battle style fights in it while being a pinball game. It's hard to explain. It's a fun game though, and a lot like other pinball games. Obviously, it's extremely different for the rest of the series. But I have played all 3 of the Kirby games that were on this, the main Kirby games. There's other side stuff that I fucking don't even remember.
Justin, we're just going to skip you because I already know what you're going to say about Kirby.
Oh boy, Koibi. I didn't play it.
Exactly. So, Jack, go ahead.
Well,
Oh, wait. He speaketh.
no, I was just gonna say, I just know of it. Like I haven't played it because the only Kirby game I have is Air Ride. It's weird, but I mean, I've seen enough of it. Like I can't. I mean, the Kirby games are not really much different from the other, except for maybe a few design changes. Aside from Kirby's apparently pretty fly for a white guy because he's not pink in the first game. He's actually white, even on the game's cover. So
That's
yeah.
true. Okay, go ahead, Jack.
Kirby's good.
Okay, moving on.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't really have anything else to say. First Dreamland was alright. Second Dreamland was better because it had partners in it and whatever. Pinball never played. Shrug.
I didn't play 2 or Pinball. I'm not that huge on Kirby. Never was really, but I've started to get into the series more. And Kirby's Dream Land, the original, it is very, very short.
It is.
I think I beat.
You can beat
It's
it
like
in
a half hour long.
No, not even. You can beat it in like 15 minutes.
Yeah, you can.
The first level's like 2 minutes long.
I beat it. I beat the first, like the normal challenge, and then the hard mode. I think that took me maybe 4 hours at the most, probably less, probably 2. But yeah, it's really short, but you know, for being the first game, it's kind of it is good. It's different. especially if you like. I played other Kirby games before I played that one, but it's still a good title. If you're a fan of Kirby games, obviously you should have played it already. If not, why haven't you? I mean, I played it. What's wrong with you? Anyway, moving on. Those were kind of our big games. Those last, well, game series. Those last, however, number 5 plus. So we're going to move on to some other things that we want to talk about, if these guys want to actually discuss them at all. One thing I would like to talk about is Metroid 2, since it is a lot different. Well, compared to the original, it brings in a lot more stuff that we see in the newer Metroid games, especially like the shoulder, like aesthetically. Samus's shoulder pads. That's where it originates in this game, and a couple other things. But does anyone else have comments before I talk about it?
Nope.
It's good.
Justin, you said you played the too. No.
Yeah. Yeah, that is definitely the one I played because I remember how she actually looked different in that one.
Is that it?
Yeah, that's about it.
Okay. I personally enjoy this game a lot, actually. I did like the change up from "You're lost, go find the final boss, GG no Re," to "Go kill things. Along the way, you're going to fight the final boss. Just go kill this species. Have fun." Although, for a lot of people, Super Metroid is the game that comes after this, and that's kind of their favorite. So you kind of have to play this game for the setup to Super Metroid, I feel, because it's like, it's the game that sets up Super Metroid. I don't know. But it's a really good title. It's not my favorite, or second favorite, but it's up there, actually, surprisingly. I like it a lot more than other Metroid titles. Okay, so basically at this point, we're going to quickly talk about other games we liked. So I think Jack wanted to talk about maybe the Mega Man games. Specifically 5. I don't know.
I like 5.
Do what you want.
5's got it's the only Game Boy Mega Man game that has its own original Robot Masters in it, and I think that makes it stand out more as opposed to the other 4 games on the Game Boy. I haven't played it in a while, so I can't really say much about it. Not that I've said much about anything else in this video, but whatever. That's
Cloud, did you have something you wanted to say about Mega Man games on the Game Boy? Did you even play them?
I played the first one. That's it.
Wily's Revenge?
Yeah.
Okay, same boat.
I
actually own a copy. I don't even know how I got it. I just found it. I'm like, okay, I guess this is fine now.
It is obviously a not as good version of Mega Man.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's got screen crunch because it's
Game
Boy, but it works.
Bounce breakfast.
I don't know why I found that funny.
Because it's a cereal brand. It's not a cereal brand, but it sounds like one.
It's
Screen crunch.
It's all right. I should probably play more of the Game Boy games.
I think most of them are on the 3DS eShop. I
think they all are now.
Yeah, they also added some Game Boy Color games too,
but,
like Mega Man Extreme.
Yeah, I don't really have much to say.
All right, well, yeah, I don't have much to say either. And Justin, yours is Mega Man Law.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't really play a lot of Mega Man.
Did you guys have any other games you wanted to talk about before I just shitstorm the rest of the video and then we end?
No. I don't have anything else.
Justin, did you have any other Game Boy games?
No.
No. Oh, okay. Oh. Jack? Yes.
No.
Oh, okay. Good. That leaves me with...
This video is now completely hijacked by Landon Cohen.
Okay, so there are 3 other games I wanted to talk about for the Game Boy, because I kind of... These games I ended up playing later off, basically when they were brought to the 3DS eShop, because, like I said, most of my original Game Boy stuff, actually playing on the original Game Boy, was Tetris. Surprisingly, I think I found the Mega Man game a little bit later. I don't know when I found it, but I remember just finding it, and I'm like, oh, okay. Pretty sure that was 2006. It was just sitting around the house for whatever reason. And the Pokemon, Tetris and Pokemon was pretty much it. Plus, maybe some of these other games, I don't know. But 3 games, one of these was just it's a port of like the NES game Yoshi, which is another puzzle falling block game, which I found actually really fun for I don't know what reason, but I found it really fun. I kind of still go back to it every once in a while when I want to do it. Maybe I'll do one video where I lose, because it's pretty much how it goes. Probably not. These guys would be like, no, what are you doing? Stop. Next up, Gargoyle's Quest, which is part of the, what is it, series? It's, I know what series it's from. I'm blanking. Justin, help. It's the one with Arthur.
Wait, what? Ghosts and Goblins, or?
Yes, Ghosts and
Wait,
Goblins.
what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a platform RPG from that series. And I just, when I played it, I was just like, wow, this is actually really good. I was surprised because it is a Game Boy title, so, you know, some Game Boy titles are really hit and miss, and this one I just fell in love with. Another game I fell in love with was an RPG, a first-person RPG, sort of Hope 2, and I just had a lot of fun playing that game as well. Some of your party members just get killed off because, you know, fuck. I remember one of the guys just sacrifices himself in a volcano. It's just like, go on, I will stay back and stop this dragon or whatever. And I was just like, oh, okay, man. And like, there's this old lady that like tricks you and I don't know, does something. I think it like she steals something from you, and then like there's this small girl that ends up joining your party. So I don't know, man. It's weird. It's fun. I wish part of me wishes they'd bring the original to the eShop, or I guess I can just track down a copy and play on my Game Boy Color or Game Boy Advance SP. But those, and I started playing recently through emulation Kid Dracula, and I'm having fun with that. And I started playing a Europe, well, it was Japan and Europe. It's called Trip World, and that's really short, kind of like Kirby. It actually kind of really reminds me of Kirby, because you kind of transform. Like there's a fish power. I don't know. I didn't understand it. I played through it a little bit, and I was just like, this is weird. But yeah, that is the video and all I wanted to say. And I guess these guys, because all they said was no.
Well, most of my experiences with the Game Boy Color, which you wouldn't let us talk about.
System. Well, that's because it's not the original Game Boy. See how that works? It's called the Game Boy Color.
I'm young, so I'm exempt.
I don't care about you.
Does that mean the Game Boy Pocket is a different system?
No one cares about me.
Well,
apparently.
it's just like if we were doing something for the Master System and you guys started naming off Game Gear games.
Sure, yeah, that. With that, we will end. Please like, subscribe, comment. Please don't, actually. Be like everyone else. Don't do anything with us. Ignore us. Why'd you even watch this video?
Our only fan hates me, therefore the whole fan base does. GG no re.
Okay, good night.